What the happiest day of your life was built on a lie. When a bride receives a mysterious wedding gift, a delicate box with a thumb drive of evidence, she uncovers her groom's dark secret, one that's tied to her own sister's tragic death. The wedding is just the beginning of her plan for revenge. The morning sun filtered through the lace curtains, painting delicate patterns on the walls of the bridal suite. Emma sat at her vanity, her hands trembling as she tried to steady her nerves. Today was supposed to be the happiest day of her life. The room was filled with the scent of roses and the soft hum of her bridesmaids' laughter. Her mother fussed over her dress, her best friend handed her a glass of champagne, and her phone buzzed with messages of congratulations. But beneath the surface, Emma felt a strange sense of unease, a whisper of something wrong, just out of sight. As the preparations continued, a hotel staff member knocked on the door, holding a small, beautifully wrapped box. "This was left for you at the front desk, miss," he said, offering it with a polite smile. There was no card, no sender's name, just a delicate white ribbon tied in a perfect bow. Emma's bridesmaids crowded around, eager to see what it was. She untied the ribbon and lifted the lid, revealing a velvet pouch. Inside was a silver thumb drive, cool and heavy in her palm. Her heart skipped a beat. Who would send her a gift like this, and why? The room buzzed with speculation, but Emma's instincts told her to keep it private. She slipped the drive into her purse, her mind racing. As the others returned to their preparations, Emma excused herself and slipped into the adjoining room, locking the door behind her. She found her laptop, plugged in the drive, and waited as the files loaded. What she saw made her blood run cold. The thumb drive contained a single folder labeled for the bride. Inside were dozens of files, emails, text messages, photos, and audio recordings. Emma's hands shook as she opened the first email. It was from her groom, Alex, to someone she didn't recognize. The subject line read, "About Lily." Emma's breath caught in her throat. Lily was her younger sister, who had died by suicide 2 years earlier. The pain of that loss was still raw, a wound that had never fully healed. She clicked through the emails, her horror growing with each new revelation. Alex had known Lily, far better than he'd ever admitted. The messages revealed a secret relationship, one filled with manipulation, threats, and betrayal. There were photos of Alex and Lily together, some taken just weeks before her death. The audio files were even worse, recordings of arguments, Alex's voice cold and cruel, Lily's voice pleading and broken. Emma's vision blurred with tears as she listened, her heart shattering all over again. The final file was a video. Emma hesitated, her finger hovering over the play button. She pressed it, and the screen filled with Lily's face. She looked tired, her eyes red from crying. "If you're watching this, I'm sorry," Lily whispered. "I tried to tell you, but I was scared. Alex. He's not who you think he is. Please, don't trust him." The video ended, and Emma sat in stunned silence, the weight of the truth crushing her. Her wedding day had become a nightmare, and she knew she couldn't go through with it, not without a plan. Emma returned to the bridal suite, her face pale but composed. She forced a smile for her bridesmaids, assuring them she was just nervous. Inside, her mind was a storm of rage and grief. She watched Alex from across the room as he mingled with guests, his charm on full display. He laughed, shook hands, and posed for photos, the perfect groom. But Emma saw him differently now, a liar, a manipulator, a man who had played a role in her sister's death. She replayed the evidence in her mind, searching for answers. Why had Alex targeted Lily? What had he wanted from her? The emails hinted at secrets, at something Alex was desperate to keep hidden. Emma realized that her own relationship with Alex had started just weeks after Lily's death. Had he sought her out on purpose, to cover his tracks? The thought made her skin crawl. Emma's anger hardened into resolve. She wouldn't let Alex get away with this. She wouldn't let her sister's memory be tarnished by his lies. But she knew she had to be careful. If she confronted him now, he would deny everything, twist the truth, and make her look unstable. She needed a plan, a way to expose him in front of everyone, to make sure he could never hurt anyone again. The wedding would go on, but it would end on her terms. Emma spent the next hours in a daze, moving through the rituals of the day with mechanical precision. She let her mother adjust her veil, let her friends fuss over her makeup, let the photographer snap endless photos. But beneath the surface, she was plotting. She copied the files from the thumb drive to her phone, then to a cloud account, making sure the evidence couldn't be erased. She texted her best friend, Sarah, asking her to meet in private. In a quiet corner, Emma showed Sarah the evidence. Sarah's face went white as she listened to the recordings and read the emails. "What are you going to do?" she whispered. Emma's voice was steady. "I'm going to give Alex a wedding he'll never forget." Together, they devised a plan. During the reception, Emma would play the video of Lily for everyone to see. She would expose Alex's lies in front of their families, friends, and the entire community. It would be public, undeniable, and devastating. As the ceremony approached, Emma felt a strange sense of calm. She walked down the aisle, her heart pounding, her mind focused. She looked into Alex's eyes as they exchanged vows, seeing the truth behind his smile. She played her part perfectly, waiting for the moment when she would turn the tables. The wedding was no longer a celebration, it was a stage for justice. The reception was a blur of music, laughter, and clinking glasses. Emma moved through the crowd, accepting congratulations and posing for photos, all the while keeping one eye on Alex. He was in his element, charming the guests, basking in the attention. But Emma saw the cracks in his facade, the way his smile faltered when he caught her watching, the nervous glances he cast her way. As dinner ended and the toasts began, Emma signaled to Sarah. The lights dimmed, and the DJ announced a special video prepared by the bride. The room fell silent as the screen flickered to life. At first, it was a montage of childhood photos, Emma and Lily laughing, playing, growing up together. Then, the video shifted. Lily's face appeared, her voice trembling as she spoke her final message. The room was transfixed, the air thick with shock and confusion. As the video ended, Emma stood and faced the crowd. Her voice was clear and unwavering as she told the truth about Alex, about his relationship with Lily, about the manipulation and threats, about the role he had played in her sister's death. Gasps and whispers rippled through the room. Alex tried to protest, but the evidence was undeniable. The guests turned on him, their admiration replaced by disgust. The wedding was over, but Emma's plan had only just begun. The aftermath was chaos. Alex's family rushed to his side, demanding explanations. Emma's parents were in shock, struggling to process the truth. The guests whispered and stared, some offering Emma comfort, others simply leaving in silence. The media caught wind of the scandal, and soon the story was everywhere. Groom exposed at wedding, the headlines screamed. Emma retreated to her hotel room, exhausted and numb. She replayed the events in her mind, wondering if she had done the right thing. But when she checked her phone, she found messages from Lily's friends, thanking her for speaking the truth. "You gave her a voice," one wrote. "You gave us all closure." Emma realized that her actions had set something in motion, a reckoning, not just for Alex, but for everyone who had been hurt by his lies. Alex tried to fight back, denying everything and threatening legal action. But the evidence was overwhelming. The police opened an investigation, and more victims came forward, sharing their own stories of manipulation and abuse. Emma watched as Alex's world crumbled, his reputation destroyed, his future in ruins. She felt a sense of justice, but also a deep sadness. Nothing could bring Lily back, but at least the truth was finally out. In the weeks that followed, Emma struggled to rebuild her life. The wedding that was supposed to mark a new beginning had become a public spectacle, her private pain laid bare for the world to see. She faced judgment from strangers, awkward questions from friends, and the lingering grief of losing her sister. But she also found strength in the support of those who believed her, who stood by her side as she navigated the fallout. Emma started therapy, determined to heal the wounds that Alex had left behind. She reconnected with Lily's friends, finding comfort in their shared memories. Together, they organized a memorial for Lily, celebrating her life and honoring her memory. The event was cathartic, a chance to grieve openly and to find closure. Emma spoke about the importance of truth, of standing up to those who would do harm, of refusing to let the past define the future. As the investigation into Alex continued, Emma found herself at the center of a movement. Other survivors reached out, inspired by her courage. She began speaking at events, sharing her story and advocating for victims of abuse. The pain of her loss was still there, but it was no longer the only thing she felt. There was hope, too, a sense that something good could come from the darkness. The legal process was long and grueling. Alex hired expensive lawyers, trying to discredit Emma and the other victims. But the evidence was too strong, the testimonies too consistent. The trial became a media sensation, with reporters camped outside the courthouse and every detail dissected on social media. Emma testified, her voice steady as she recounted the events that had led to Lily's death. She faced Alex in court, refusing to be intimidated by his glare. The verdict was a turning point. Alex was found guilty of multiple charges, including harassment, coercion, and contributing to Lily's suicide. He was sentenced to prison, his reputation in tatters. The courtroom erupted in applause as the judge read the sentence. Emma felt a wave of relief, knowing that justice had finally been served. She hugged her parents, her friends, and the other survivors, grateful for their support. The trial brought closure, but it also brought new challenges. Emma became a public figure, her story inspiring others but also attracting unwanted attention. She received hate mail, threats, and criticism from those who refused to believe her. But she stood firm, knowing that she had done the right thing. She had honored Lily's memory, and she had helped others find their own voices. With the trial behind her, Emma focused on rebuilding her life. She moved to a new city, started a new job, and began to dream of a future that wasn't defined by pain. She continued her advocacy work, speaking at schools and community centers, sharing her story and encouraging others to speak out. She found joy in small things, morning walks, coffee with friends, the warmth of the sun on her face. Emma also found love again, slowly and cautiously. She met someone who respected her boundaries, who listened without judgment, who made her feel safe. It wasn't easy, there were moments of doubt, of fear, of grief. But Emma learned to trust again, to believe in the possibility of happiness. She knew that Lily would have wanted her to move forward, to find peace. As the anniversary of Lily's death approached, Emma organized a charity event in her sister's honor. The event raised money for mental health resources and support for survivors of abuse. Emma spoke about the power of truth, the importance of community, and the strength it takes to heal. She looked out at the crowd, seeing faces filled with hope, and felt a sense of pride. She had turned her pain into purpose, her grief into action. On what would have been her first wedding anniversary, Emma received another package in the mail. This one was small and simple, wrapped in plain brown paper. Inside was a note, "For Emma, because you chose the truth." There was no signature, but Emma recognized the handwriting. It was from Lily, written years before her death. The note read, "If you ever feel lost, remember that you are stronger than you know. I love you, always." Emma wept as she read the note, feeling her sister's presence beside her. She realized that the wedding gift, the thumb drive, the evidence, the truth, had been Lily's final act of love. It had given Emma the strength to fight back, to seek justice, to heal. She placed the note in a frame, setting it on her bedside table as a reminder of the bond they shared. Emma knew that her journey was far from over. There would be new challenges, new losses, new joys. But she faced the future with courage, knowing that she had survived the worst and come out stronger. The wedding that was meant to be the beginning of a new life had become the catalyst for her greatest transformation. Emma was no longer a victim, she was a survivor, a fighter, a woman who had reclaimed her story. If you believe in the power of truth and the courage to seek justice, share this story with someone who needs hope. What would you do if you discovered a dark secret on your wedding day? Let us know in the comments below.